Great win for our guys. Lot of respect for Wyoming. Hunter Maldonado is one of the best players that in my 11 years are going against, and he had 36 points, and I actually thought we played pretty decent defense on him. But I think the offense in the second half was obviously phenomenal. Shot 58%, shared the ball a little bit better, certainly, and just found a way to get to the foul line, make winning plays. We knew that'd be a tough game. Really proud of them. Wanted to also make sure to just say that Coach Linder is in our prayers. I was able to speak to him before the game, and I know he's going through a lot right now, and I could only imagine what he's going through. So he's a great person and a great family man, and we're praying for him here in Lobo basketball. So a great win for us, and now we just got to get some rest and get ready for Utah State.
Okay, we'll take questions for the student athletes. Again, raise your hand. We'll get you the microphone. And back right.
Jeff Sabieta, the Sports Animal in Albuquerque. Josiah, I thought one of the biggest keys was your defense on Maldonado in the second half. And, yeah, he got his, but was that something that was talked about at halftime? Yeah. And specifically you drawing that assignment. I think you started out on him, but then your defense in the second half. Can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to kind of accept a compliment for defense when a guy scores 36, but I'll take it. But no, I mean, like Coach said, I mean, he's a hell of a player. Obviously we had our battles the two times we played them in the during the conference season. But I mean, I tried to do my best, just make him have to work for it, a little bit harder. But I mean, he was making some really high level plays and shots. And so definitely at halftime, basically everybody took their turn, giving me a little insight into my defense. And so I definitely tried to take it a bit more personal than I already was, and knew that, like this game, if I don't try to at least put a cap on this, then like the responsibility like of this loss is going to be on me. And so I tried to make him work a little bit extra hard, and tried to not to switch off him as much as I could. But I mean, yeah, he yeah, I mean, it's hard to talk about my defense when dude got 36, but I appreciate it.
We'll stay back right again.
Lee Faria, KOB TV in Albuquerque. Morris, not only did you win the rebounding battle, but the physicality between you two was amazing. Was that the game plan, to just beat these guys up in the lane?
Yeah, I feel like that's always the game plan. It's my job to crash the boards and rebounding. And, I'll leave it up to the guards to score. But, me and Josiah's main job, and we were brought here to rebound, so that's what I'm going to do.
We'll stay right in back right. Come up here next.
Bethany Miller, KOET in Albuquerque. For both of you, Morris and Josiah, can you just talk about the fan presence here? This is your guys' first Mountain West tournament, but, I mean, there's a reason they call it Pit West.
Yeah, like I said last time during media, I ain't know the Lobo fans travel like that, so it's huge having them, man. It's like having a second home out here. So we were trying to get the crowd hype up on defense, and it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, we had kind of heard a bit about that during the regular season, about how they call it like the Pit West, and I mean, even when we played at Air Force, we probably had more fans there than they did. We have an amazing fan base, and I mean, they came out and they showed up, and I mean, it really did feel like a home game here tonight. And that extra energy definitely helped, push us through some of those runs and get some stops. So.
Down here in the front row.
For both of you guys, Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. For both of you guys, when the game turned back in your advantage, they had a 4-point lead, 44-40, but it was all about transition. And I know both of you guys can get out and run a little bit, but Jalen House and KJ got into it, and Mashburn got into it. The way those guards took over and scored in transition, what do you two as bigs have to do to sort of get involved in that? And I know you were, but when you're watching Jalen take over in transition, what are you guys thinking?
Well, so my biggest thing is, so obviously once we secure the rebound, I'm basically just booking it to the front of the rim. I don't know if they're going to pass to me. I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, they might. But the biggest thing is I occupy a defender, and so because I'm hauling it down there, somebody has to run with me, and usually not every person on defense is going to be running as hard as I am, and so usually that one guy that's protecting the rim might have to come and play defense on me and just get in the way, and then I can either seal him into a screen or just occupy space and hopefully cause some disruption down there, maybe cause someone to rotate, get a foul on him. Just try to cause havoc, really.
So you guys have roles even when Jalen's not passing, but he's scoring.
Yeah, they're dynamic scorers. I would never want them to have to put that in the passenger seat. I want them to be aggressive. I want them to come down because that makes it my job easier for when they do just decide to dump it off because 3 guys go flying at them or whatever it may be. It's all about just being selfless.
I do have another question about the defense. I know you said you didn't really want to talk too much about defense when a guy scores 36. How many of those shots that he made tonight, though, did you honestly feel like if a percentage, you felt like, man, I just defended him pretty well and he still scored?
Oh, there's a highlight reel worth. He, like I said, I tried to make him work, as much as the clock to get into just a decent position to score it, and then did my best to contest it as well. There was one, he was fading away from the rim and scooped it off the top right corner of the backboard, and obviously his fair share just fadeaways over my hand where, I'd already tried to beat him up a bit on his way down to the block, and he's a great scorer, but I just. I was hoping I would have started the game like that. And, yeah.
And then I'll hand the mic away. I promise. Utah State. That's who's waiting for you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the matchup that didn't go right the first go around that you guys have to try and turn around to have a chance tomorrow night?
I feel like I just, as a team, we kind of collected, kind of got into a slow start, especially myself, with a couple turnovers early. So, we're going to look to just play harder on defense just like we did the second half, man. Get right on the switches. I'm going to have to do more at the rim, block more shots, and just play as hard as we can to keep winning, man, stay alive.
Yeah, Mo basically summed it up. We really shot ourselves in the foot the first half. Obviously, plenty of turnovers against a defense that doesn't really pressure, and obviously just not making shots or playing our defense that we usually do. That's the key. We can just no stupid turnovers and fly around on defense like we showed tonight in that run.
All right, that'll do it for the student athletes. Gentlemen, we'll dismiss you at this time. We'll continue with the coach.
All right. Good job. Good job.
All right, questions for Coach? Go back right.
Coach Pitino, what was the message at halftime? You obviously playing hard, but lost the lead. What was the message?
Guard the three-point line better, make them a little bit more uncomfortable. We did a much better job of just being more disruptive because I thought they were offensively comfortable, and I thought we did a way better job in the second half of making them uncomfortable. And then offensively, let's get some stops and get out on the break. We're pretty good when we do that, and I thought our guys battled. I thought they played. Josiah played good defense on Maldonado. He's one of the best players I've seen, and some of the shots he hits are amazing. So, started with the three-point line, and then just offensively, we just kind of exploded in the second half.
Right here in the middle, second row.
Billy Witz with the New York Times. Richard, I don't know if you saw that Jim Boeheim is out at Syracuse, and just I imagine that he's somebody you knew when you were growing up. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on just sort of his impact on his impact or any personal recollections?
I remember when my first year at Minnesota, we played in the Maui Classic, and we drew Syracuse in the first game. And I remember I said to the media that me and him have over 800 wins together. And it's just amazing what he's been able to do for 42 years, 47 years, and I think he went to the NCAA tournament 35, which is just remarkable. To have the just belief in a zone to never get out of it, man, when somebody hits a three versus zone, I get out of that thing so fast. But just the the players that he's coached, the brand that he built up in the upper, New York area. Obviously, my dad was an assistant coach for him. So just a phenomenal coach. Was always really nice to me. Didn't need to be as a young coach in this profession. So I know that's a tough way to go out, losing at the buzzer, but it never ends well. But one of the great coaches of all time.
Down here in the front row.
Ducell hits a three. They take a 4-point lead. It was their largest lead. And then you guys, whatever, I don't know if something changed or it was just, it started happening even though you were trying to do it, but the transition offense, you guys, I know you try and get out in transition a lot, and I know you guys know you're good in transition. Is there something you could do to even do that more? Because it was just unstoppable there for about an 8-minute stretch.
Play better defense. I mean, that's really it. It's hard to get out on the break when we don't defend. And we were defending, and we were rebounding. We were getting some of those long rebounds. And you look at Jalen had 7, Mash had 6, Javante had 9. That's the key is when our guards come back and rebound, we can get out on the break. So it's all connected, but it all comes down to defense and rebounding the basketball.
And then when you see Jalen kind of in one of those second half zones he's been in before, he was starting to chatter a little bit with people and on the benches and stuff like that.
I didn't notice that.
He's a guy that was tonight, I guess, in the second half. One of those just let Jalen go kind of halves, or did you have to tell him to calm down?
No, I had to tell him to calm down. But be yourself. He's so emotional in a great way. That's why we've won 22 games, and that's why he's an all-conference player. But there's sometimes he just needs to slow down a little bit, but it's what makes him great, So, I mean, more often than not, his emotion and energy is going to end in a positive. And for a lot of this year, when we've had him, we obviously dropped Air Force in Wyoming without him, and that took us out of an at-large bid. But when he's in there, we're pretty good. So I got to let him be himself to a certain extent.
Last one for me is what do you as a coach think needs to change primarily from the Utah State game in Logan to tomorrow night?
Well, I mean, it seems like it was a while ago. I don't know the exact date, but Utah State's really good. I mean, they've got guys that have been there a long time, and they're old, and they share the basketball. And Coach Odom just offensively puts them in great spots. So I've got a lot of respect for him. So I think the biggest thing for us, get some rest tonight. We'll watch a lot of film, put together the best game plan that we can do, but some of it, too, is that's a hard place to play. I mean, you got to give those fans credit. They're really they're on top of you, and we didn't handle it well. I remember being a little bit better in the second half. So just keep our composure and defend because they're dynamic offensively.
Go back right.
Coach, some early fouls called really on a lot of the players out on the floor. Josiah and Morris ended with 4 fouls each. How does that change the way that you coach the game or encourage them how to play defense?
I told him, keep playing defense. Don't worry about fouling out. We're not doing that. And I subbed Morris and Josiah out a little bit, but I try not to overthink it too much with the foul trouble, because sometimes you can take yourself out of a game by sitting guys too long. So we were able to get him out a little bit. But again, although Maldonado had 36, I thought Josiah was doing a great job on him, and we needed him in there because when we don't have him in there, we have to trap and scramble, and we give up some threes. So just got to live with it. Sometimes you need to just not overthink it as a coach.
Got time for one more question right here in the middle.
Cody Tucker, 7220 Sports in Wyoming. Coach Pitino, I'm wondering if you would share with us what you said to Hunter Maldonado there in the handshake line, and I assume you're not going to miss facing that guy.
For one, I never want to see that guy again. He is unbelievable. What a unique player and an absolute warrior. And that's what I told him. I said, you are a warrior. And he dominates the game. He does it with class. He's loyal, which I know Coach Linder had said that. That's kind of rare in the world that we're living in today, to stick through a coaching change and to stick it out. And, so I've got so much respect for him. A unique player who's shooting the ball better. But, yeah, I just told him I've got so much respect. I don't like playing against him, but, wow, is he a terrific player and so much character and substance to him.
All right, that'll do it. Coach, thank you.